Welcome to the Tim and Gugabe podcast. This is your host, Tim. Gugabe, how you doing? 2023.
Shit, it is 2023. That's a sobering thought. Yeah, life's good. How are you, Tim?
Not bad. How was your break? I mean, we haven't talked for a few weeks. So what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Did a bit of traveling. Went to a stint to Australia's version of Florida. It's a good spot. Parents are tied up there. Beautiful place. I've given myself a fairly major cauliflower ear, which is annoying because I've been wrestling for 11, 12 years, or done various combat sports for 11, 12 years and never had any issues. And one day, just suddenly both of them do it like in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So taking along. How about you, Tim? What you up to?
Not much. I feel because for work, I generally get 2 weeks off, and I pretty much did this break around. So I was trying to have a list of shit to do, whenever, because usually UFC is off as well. And I never get it done. I just end up fucking off for 2 weeks, but I actually got a lot of shit done. So it was a very productive break. I guess a few big stories that happened. Dana White slapped his wife after she kind of slapped him. What else happened? The James Krause stuff is still ongoing. Some drama in the MMA betting community, and a lot of random shit has been happening.
Yeah, Dana White stuff was interesting. A real divisive issue in the community. I think it's best not talk about it in too much detail.
Just leave it alone. What's up, Cam? How's it going?
Good, Cam.
Yeah. So, what was funny that the last card was Strickland and Cannonier, and it was the most boring fight of all time. And now Strickland will be. That was the last one, right?
Yeah, it was, but people keep calling it an awful fight, and I was like, that was fine. All
right. To be fair, I kind of just got bored of it, and so I stopped watching because it was I didn't have any bets on it and stuff, and I was like, all right, it's the last fight, and I'm like, I just don't feel like watching anymore. So I kind of turned it off.
I think I took Strickland plus 450 going into the decision because I was like, I just think this is Cannonier's probably got it, but I don't think he should be minus 500. But well.
Yeah. No, it was
fun. It was high octane. They're hitting each other pretty hard. There
was it better than I just imagined it? Because I was kind of watching because I think what was I doing? I was going somewhere. I think I was in an Uber and I checked it out and I didn't have volume on. It just seemed kind of like a pitter patter, kind of boring fight. But I don't know. It could have been better.
It was fairly well contested. I give it a C plus, B minus for entertainment.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying it's fight of the year, but it wasn't awful.
All right. Well, we're getting Strickland again, and yeah, we won't really recap that card. It was so long ago, but I guess we can just start from the top. I don't even know what the odds are. I think I saw something. Imavov is a minus 175 favorite, but it probably changed. But
Strickland's
going to be Imavov Strickland now, and I'm trying to look. Are the odds up?
Strickland is about minus 120, minus 115. So
it's a pick on that.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't taped. I don't I kind of think this is 5 rounds, right?
Yeah, Imavov sucks. Some people got quite fortunate where he had a bunch of matchups where the other person turned out to just be massively shit or just cardio died.
I played him versus Shabazian.
Yeah,
and it was just kind of a good matchup for him, and I was lower on Shabazian than everyone else,
Yeah, but after seeing how bad Imavov gassed against Buckley, it's
no, I agree. I think before that Shabazian fight, if I would have seen that Buckley fight, I wouldn't have played Imavov over Shabazian. You know what I mean? I would have probably just been they both might gas. It might be a shit show, But because of that Buckley fight, I would probably lean Strickland here. And I feel even on the short notice, it's I probably still trust Strickland's gas tank over 5 rounds. And he spars hard. He seems like the guy who could probably just do a boxing fight for 25 rounds or for 25 minutes fine, even on short notice. It's at 205. I just don't. It's still a striking fight, and I do think Imavov will like compete just fine early. I think Imavov is quite good early, but like I don't know. His competition hasn't been that
Lost to
great.
Edmund, lost round 1 to Edmund, lost round 1 to Jordan Williams, 50-50 round 1 against Buckley. Like, round 1 Buckley was the mount, was like that mount at the end of the round, which like decided the round. It wasn't the like striking though. I think Buckley was winning.
Yeah. I mean, I probably lean Strickland a little bit here, but I would have to, he still doesn't put like emphasis on rounds all the time, you know? But I honestly, I think I'd rather play like Strickland in a live betting situation because I do think Imavov will still, I could see Strickland just dominating later in the fight, you know? Like, remember Wonderboy Holland where it was just like towards the end? Strickland can fight 5 rounds, and I know he can. And Imavov, I'm just not that sure he can. I would rather just bet Strickland live, and Strickland could just get chin checked early, you know, so it could avoid something like that where Imavov just kills him right away. What do you think?
I think it's very annoying we lost the Gastelum matchup because I think that Gastelum and Strickland essentially present the same issue. Imavov.
I think Strickland's better than Gastelum, but go on.
Maybe against different people, but I think as far as Imavov's concerned, but we know Gastelum is like
just way better.
Yeah, but Gastelum is super durable.
And yeah,
for his leg kicks.
Strickland's generally pretty durable. Like I feel like people are like he got killed by Pereira and then like a spinning kick one time. He's had so many striking rounds where like he's been totally fine.
But still, against Gastelum, it's like goes the distance was minus 190 and Imavov was minus 220. Like, how the fuck does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Like, you've got to pick one.
Yeah.
After that Buckley gas out, like he gassed out against Buckley, he gassed out against Hawes. Like, Hawes round 3 was a mess.
All right. Like, this is a good way to put this fight. It's Buckley outlanded Imavov at distance 44-36 in 3 rounds. And, like, it mostly came from that round 3, you know? So, like, why? I just have to favor Strickland over the course of 25 minutes. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that Imavov opened at minus 175. Brett Appley texted me, this line is going to flip, and it, like, is starting to, you know? I probably lean Strickland a little bit. I still just hate high variance 5-round striking fights, especially short notice will add more variance too. But Strickland seems like the type of guy who just spars hard in those type of fights where I feel like his gas tank will probably hold up.
Yeah, I agree.
It would be hilarious if Imavov just like showed up with fine cardio this time. He just doesn't tire out. I mean, sometimes that shit happens, and that's why I prefer live betting, you know, because I still think Imavov will have early success whether or not he gasses. But
yeah, that's kind of my view. I would prefer to have Gastelum at plus 180 over instead of Strickland at minus 115. But yeah, I think Imavov's going to struggle over 5 rounds. Again, if Imavov was ever going to cover his price against Gastelum, he pretty much needed to grapple finish him inside 2 rounds.
Yeah,
because he's an okay striker. He's not some fucking striking god.
He's got some skills, but I just don't trust him over 20.
He doesn't do much. He doesn't even like Buckley before
he's
round
accurate, like with his shots. He's precise, but he's just like you're right. His volume isn't always there and shit.
What was Buckley round 1 and round 2 for on distance strikes?
They were like low volume shit.
6 to 10.
Yeah, it was like, but like Imavov was landing the harder shots. You know, it was kind of shit like that, and then like grappling, I think, was mixed in a little bit.
I think Imavov's more round 1. It was like that was a disgrace for a round that just sort of turned on that whole takedown. Because like if Buckley Buckley shoots a takedown 30 seconds left, if Buckley ends up on top, he probably wins the round. If Imavov ends up on top, he wins the round, kind of a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we talked enough about this fight. Ige and Jackson. I went in kind of leaning Jackson, and then I kind of came out like I don't know. I think a pick 'em is about right, you know. And I think I ended up picking Ige. It's one of those fights where I feel like on the feet, like you'd agree, Ige's, you know, with durability edge and power, he's probably a little bit better on the feet. But Jackson is a little like he's scrappy, you know, like he can make shit happen. But if it played out on the feet, I would probably favor Ige, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Iga's weird because he just kind of has coin flips with like the number 5 featherweight and the number 50 featherweight.
yeah,
It
yeah,
just feels like Iga just has coin flips with people.
yeah. But then on the mat, I favor Jackson as just like a
Yeah.
top position grappler more. But I just so like they both can have success. Like I could see Ige having stretches of success on the feet and like landing bigger shots, and then Jackson getting like takedowns. I think he could wrap up a body triangle. Like Ige does give up that position, but I just doubt Jackson finishes Ige. He's never been finished in his career. He's tough as nails, and so he'll probably have to go 15 minutes. And then I just watching that Argueta fight with Jackson, I just didn't like how he would kind of you know what I mean? Like he would kind of get reversed and hit with the harder shots. And I didn't like his physicality. And I could see Ige making him pay more in some of those situations. And Ige got out grappled by Evloev. And like I went into tape just thinking Jackson would probably like get the takedown. Like I'm going to favor the guy who's going to get more top position, you know? And then the more I watched, Ige was scrambling up pretty decent on Evloev early. You know what I mean? Like, and he was scrambling up, giving up his back and scrambling up. That might result in the back take, but I do think he can reverse. He reversed Evloev a couple times, and I feel like he can probably. And Evloev is a much better wrestler than Jackson. I still think Jackson's like pretty good. Like he's a solid, like middle class fighter, but I just feel like there will be that stretches of, Jackson might get some control, but he might give it up, and you know how damage over control these days. So I ended up picking Ige because I feel like he can have positions to escape, and I think he'll do a little more damage on the feet. And I trust his durability more, so his like floor is higher. Because even if he loses, it will probably be a tight decision, Where I feel like he's probably more likely to hurt Jackson too. So I ended up going with them, but it's close. Like they both can win. It's a good fight. Do you kind of have similar opinions, or did you have a lean?
Yeah, I probably slightly lean Jackson just because I feel like he's got more chance of like dominantly winning. I just
With
feel like
wrestling, yeah. That's
yeah,
why I
it's like
wanted to. That's why I wanted to pick him. I just got a little less confident in his dominant control the more I watch it. I do think he can get some though, especially if he gets a body triangle. But I hear you. I hear you.
like, Ego's kind of noodly on the bottom.
Yeah,
He does,
yeah.
like sometimes he looks good. And like, Evilev's tiny as well. Like people kind of forget he's small. Yeah, he fought a bantamweight for a reason.
He's physical though and really
He
skilled.
is, but he's still quite
Yeah,
small.
yeah.
Yeah, I do. I think it'll be a great fight.
I think it's a
Under
really
kind of
good
interests
fight.
me,
Yeah,
but under plus 160s, I feel like tempo is going to be insane. Damon Jackson has one direction, and Damon just comes at you. So like, you're giving me plus 160 on a Damon Jackson under is usually going to be a play because like he's kind of fragile and he'll just keep pushing on. He's like Quarantino. He's one of those guys. I should honestly do Jackson versus Quarantino. That'd be a great fight.
yeah. The thing about that under is I just like think Ige is so tough to where there might not be value on it because I just don't think Jackson finishes him at a high rate. Like, but
the toughness has been like him barely surviving all these subs. Like,
yeah,
like
and I mean,
almost got them.
Evloev almost knocked him out. Like if you rewatch that fight, he got kneed. It was like a great shot, but that's why I'm a little. But that still is a pretty. If it was like plus 160, I would take. I think like that's better. But now that it's plus 120, I'd probably stay away from it now personally. But I do hear you. Like the over is not safe here, just because it's going to be hectic.
Yeah, like, I'd expect like easily. Yeah, I think that it will just be. Jackson they both can do a lot of shit. Ego's finishing is weird because like you watch his fights and like yes he survives and he's not good at. Ego fights are bad at like converting near finishes into finishes, but there are a lot of near finishes in Ige fights.
Yeah,
like Barboza fucking killed him twice.
The clock can bleed. The clock can bleed on the mat here, like for that over to hit. Like just like
true.
Jackson laying in his guard and shit. I don't know. I don't feel like dealing with it, but it's a fun fight. Like it's a really good fight. I was really torn taping, and I went in wanting to kind of go with Jackson just because I have been impressed with his grappling lately, and Ige can get taken down and stuff. But the more I watch the Evloev fight, it's like Evloev is a great grappler, and Ige did make him like really work at times. And if he could do the same thing here, I think he can get stretches of on the feet where like Evloev, it's like if Evloev doesn't get a takedown, he can still outstrike Ige. Where like Ige might fuck Jackson up if he, and just like the way Jackson was getting tired against Argueta and was getting like hit with big shots when there was separation, it just made me nervous. But it's a close fight. Like, if it goes
Correct
to
me
the
if I'm wrong,
really
but
be tight.
correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't our Lord and Master Mike Grundy almost tap Evloev?
Yeah, but like that, I mean, that was my biggest bet of that year. Dude, Evloev was -1. He closed at -155, and more like I got him at -170, and more money kept coming in. And then like imagine that line now.
Plus 1,000 Evloev, because that's how unlikely it was him to get out of Grundy's guillotine.
Yeah.
Grundy gets one deep front headlock every single version of that fight. It's just death, taxes, Grundy 10.
If that was that an anaconda? It was an anaconda he put him in, right?
I remember actually, I'm going to talk briefly about last card. Remember that fucking Nurmagomedov versus Kakramanov?
Oh, yeah.
Guillotine?
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Kakramanov
was -900 live, and
he was fucking him.
Yeah, he was. He couldn't deal. Nurmagomedov couldn't deal with the pressure. He just like had no room to operate. I put that down in my breakdown. I was like, fuck, he might not get space to like operate. And I ended up picking Nurmagomedov, which is probably the wrong pick. You know,
he was like plus 400 easily.
Yeah. But it was weird though. I was talking to my friend about that.
He had 3 decent shots though. He did.
I was talking to my friend about this fight, and like I'm not trying to say like Nurmagomedov should be favored or anything, but it was funny that he almost ran into that guillotine like 9 times though. And even whenever he was dominating, I was getting nervous about it. Like, he ended up getting it, and Nurmagomedov probably doesn't get that 50 times, to like warrant what his price was, but I remember specifically in that fight, I was like, this fucking idiot keeps running into that, even though he has like a gassed fighter who he's dominating.
Yeah, like the first 2 guillotines, I didn't mind too much because, like, all right, you kind of like, Nurmagomedov was still kind of fresh.
Resistance. Yeah.
But then, it's like, sure, he could have done literally anything to Nurmagomedov in round 2.
He could have he runs right into a guillotine.
Yeah, like he could have just hang out. He could have just taken less risky positions. But
at that point, that was like all Saeed could do. He was like, I can go for a guillotine, and then once I'm grounded, I'm fucked. And he just happened to get it. Like if he ran into that early, like you said, when the guy's fresh and shit, like Nurmagomedov, it's kind of understandable. But he was still going right into it when Nurmagomedov was tired. It was fucking bizarre. But yeah.
Also, Saeed guessing that badly after 6 minutes was kind of embarrassing.
Yeah,
like it's a fucking bantamweight.
Yeah.
What's next?
Did you like imagine like Cody Stamann could have won that fight against Nurmagomedov?
Oh yeah, easily.
And people were like bragging about playing Nurmagomedov -250 there, whatever the fuck he was, and it's like Stamann Stamann has a better tank.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Anyway. Soriano and Kopylov, I haven't taped this one, but I generally understand it. Like Kopylov is probably the better striker, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he is a fish on the mat. Kopylov like really bad, and so that kind of because Soriano can grapple a little bit. Like I don't think he's a good wrestler, but you don't have to be that good to be able to get it going versus Kopylov, and so I think him being a favorite like made sense on first glance to me. What do you think here?
Yeah, pretty much similar. Like I understand small favorite Soriano has got like a bit more wrestling upside and probably wins around 1 in a good clip because he's a better athlete.
Yeah.
Kopylov live probably better. Like, Soriano tends to gas pretty bad, so like probably Kopylov live over pre-fight. But I have no real compulsion to bet this fight.
Will Soriano go full idiot here, like Jake Matthews, and just strike like against Semmelsberger?
Yeah. Even like over-unders kind of whatever, because Soriano's probably live to bonk him, but also neither guy does huge amounts, but also don't want to play goes distance there.
Yeah. Soriano out-wrestled Pickett, but he doesn't always wrestle, but generally he's fought guys who will like grapple a bit, like where he's on the defense, like Maximoff and stuff. So I don't know if he'll go to his grappling here, but like he's probably the justified favorite because if he doesn't win, but I mean, if he just decides to strike, he's I would probably favor Kopylov, wouldn't you, on the feet?
Yeah, I think it's close.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think Soriano's athleticism and probably gives him the first round regardless.
And he's just got random power early.
Yeah, he hits fucking hard, or Kopylov doesn't so much. So yeah, I'd look at a Kopylov live bet personally because I feel like Soriano's success to be front loaded. Good chance that Soriano's probably go win round 1, and you can get Kopylov plus 300 after having survived being KO1 kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like not too interested in that one. Vieira and Pennington, I mean, what decision? Like for sure.
Yeah, pretty much. Callum looked a little bit improved against Holm, but also that was like I think Holm won that fight and Holm looked shit.
Yeah, Holm looked terrible, and she still like clearly won the fight in my eyes.
Yeah. I'm still pissed. It's like the only time I played Juice that year was like I picked up a bunch of Holm live and that kind of stuff, and it's just like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, that was a really bad decision.
Like I can understand how you get to Ketlin decision, but like it's like a plus 400 card.
It's like Patty versus Gordon. It's like you have to give her every 50-50 round, and it was just really dumb, you know?
Yeah, because like Holm had 2 clear rounds and
even like
2 coin flips.
Rounds you have to give to her too. Yeah.
Yeah, ridiculous. Oh, well.
Yeah, like on the feet here, like if it stays standing, I just kind of think exchanges will be competitive. Vieira is weird because like her metrics suck, so I've always kind of just like been like with it. Like Vieira is so weird because like I don't think she's very good at fighting, but she's also like probably a top 5 fighter in this division because they're terrible. Like she's like a moderately okay boxer and has like judo throws, and she, like imagine that skill set in men's MMA. She would be an LFA, you know?
Yeah.
It's fucking terrible, man. Like women's MMA is awful. There's like 8 good fighters, maybe.
I just want to get Macy Chiasson plus 300 against the woman again, but I just think Macy Chiasson the market seems to have this passionate hatred of her, but she's like coin flip against everybody. That's like my only women's bantamweight tag.
Yeah, she's probably undervalued at this point, but like Vieira,
apart from the Aldana fight, remember that fucking ending?
Yeah,
that was the stupidest shit.
Yeah, she like
possibly the stupidest loss in UFC history.
Yeah. Wait, was that like a dumb knee bar or something? Like what was
no, she got upkicked and then she got body upkick.
Yeah, it was something.
She got like gently nudged with Aldana's like Aldana would Aldana was on the back. She'd lost the fight clearly. Then she just like clips her with her toes in the liver.
I remember it. Oh yeah, that's right. I remember now. It was so dumb that I like forgot what even happened. It was that dumb.
Yeah, it was like it wasn't even like that has literally never happened before. It will never happen again,
dude. No, the other one, and I swear to God, after watching like Dariush and Gamrot fight, I swear to God, I always like said that CDF Gamrot fight. I really think that the fight was fucking turning a corner, and look at like how close and competitive Dariush and CDF was. You know, I really think like CDF is going to come back there, and the other dumbest exchange in UFC history besides that like fucking upkick body shot kill shot by Aldana over Jason was that knee to like the hamstring that like knocked by Gamrot that finished CDF. That was the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen.
You're confused about Gamrot. The Sorokian fight, it doesn't make any sense compared to the rest of Gamrot's career. Like he just has this one, like like again, the Sorokian fight was a robbery. We can put that aside. But even then, Gamrot's cardio was impressive. Like the fact he managed to even turn that into like a 4-1 loss was like, good on you for coming back from round 5. I think when like
he fought really well in that fight. I just don't think he just did not deserve the decision. He fought really well against Soriano. Yeah, it
was a great performance, but like the cardio he showed there, like he went for like fucking 25 takedowns or some shit.
And he just
kept going against Dariush.
Yeah, he looked great in that fight. He was on some EPO or something. But
just singular cardio performance. It makes no sense compared to the rest of his career.
Yeah, you can't stay on task here though. But Vieira Pennington, the other thing I was going to say about Vieira is it's weird because like her metrics, she lands like 3.13 significant strikes per minute and absorbs 4.03 and only defends strikes at 52%. So like historically, like if you look at those metrics, they suck. But she does kind of like, I feel like she's a little better than that indicates on the feet. Like, I just feel like she kind of hits, like her punches seem to have like effect, you know, and she lands a lot of head strikes. Like, even though her like significant strikes don't look that great, she outlanded Holm to the head 49-26, which is why I think the judges did lean her in a couple rounds. But the distance strikes, Holm outlanded her 76-49. So it's like Holm outlanded her, but Vieira was landing the more head strikes. And usually when your metrics suck, but you land more head strikes in general, you can outperform your metrics. So I do think she's one to outperform her metrics, and she's better on the feet than people indicate. And then Pennington's like, her metrics are decent. And I just feel like on the feet, it will be close. I ended up picking Vieira to win because I do think she's probably more likely to like land some dumb judo takedown, and like that, a takedown here would be insanely valuable in a close, you know what I mean? Like in a fight like this, that's almost guaranteed to have, go to it. It's minus 300 to go to a decision. I would put that number higher. I think it's like 8 or 9 out of 10 to go to the cards. And
my concern with Ketlin, she doesn't really have get-ups. Well, like I feel like Pennington, if she does get takedowns, is more likely to actually like do things and like try and get up. Or like Ketlin just kind of just closes the guard and that's it.
And people don't really know that. And like it's just like the couple times she's been there, she's looked absolutely awful, Vieira, but she defends takedowns at 92%. So it's like she's never tested there. And Pennington only lands a takedown per 15, but like, yeah, like she could still land one. It's just one takedown, one dumb caught kick, right? And one dumb fucking caught kick or judo head and arm throw by either of these girls probably wins the fucking fight, don't you think?
Yeah. No.
It's which I don't want to put my money on that. I would honestly like. Can you just like play both girls by split decision? Just like hope it hits, because it's going to the fucking cards. What's split decision? I'd look like something like that. Or
I know certain books do, but I don't think they do this far out.
It's just I doubt either girl outlands each other by more than like 15 significant strikes, and like they probably like it's probably going to be 0-0 takedowns or like 1-0 someone. It's like the numbers are going to be close. So I mean, it's just
I agree.
I don't know. We can stop talking about that fight. Nurmagomedov and Barcelos. I just don't know how good Nurmagomedov is, but I like honestly he'll probably win, but I would not play any bantamweight in the world in a 3-rounder at he's minus 700 now and over that and some. I would not play any bantamweight in the world at that line against Barcelos. Just because Barcelos could just kill you, and then B, because like Barcelos is actually pretty good. And I know he gassed and whatnot against Henry, but generally, like, I mean, this is a guy who murdered Chris Gutierrez, like dominated him. And Barcelos is pretty fucking good. And I'm really worried that Nurmagomedov randomly can't land takedowns here just because you get him on Brian Kelleher. Like Barcelos defends takedowns at fucking 93% and seems like a really physical guy. If Nurmagomedov, like there's a good chance he just can't get takedowns here, can't do his primary game plan at minus 700, gets put in a striking fight, And Nurmagomedov looks very evasive. So honestly, he could probably just like, he might win on the feet, but I wouldn't want to bet on that,
Yeah, not minus 700.
No way. No chance.
Like, yeah, I think, Barcelos probably just gets out-hustled and loses like a split decision. Like, that's kind of my take. But like, Henry to gas out Barcelos, he threw 400 total strikes in 15 minutes. Like, that is not easy.
Yeah, and that's just not the type of pace that Nurmagomedov. Like, Nurmagomedov is more of like a flee of foot, like, kicker, Like, he's not a guy who walks at you like a fucking zombie.
Yeah, like, I mean, Trevin Jones kind of sucks, but like, 15-minute fight, Trevin Jones landed 11 strikes.
Yeah.
Like, Barcelos is very good at MMA. Like, he's a bit of an idiot. Nobody's denying that. But, like, I just don't get the logic. And also my thing is, like, Umar is minus 700, but the sub prop's like plus 400. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. Like, you assume if he's going to justify minus 700, he'd have to absolutely skull fuck him on the mat.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't think.
What's his ITD line? Plus
225.
Yeah.
Nurmagomedov decisions like minus 200. And like, it's not like Nurmagomedov is like Merab or some shit where it's like, he's going to put like this massive dominating pace on him.
Yeah.
Like, gun to my head, I'm pretty sure Umar will work harder than will do more than Barcelos.
Like, he'll probably win, but it's minus 700,
Yeah. Like, I mean, numbers have to mean something.
100%.
And like, his strength of schedule, like even like Morozov, like the first round against Morozov wasn't anything incredible. then Morozov just kind of pulled a Morozov wilt.
I still think he's just untested. Nurmagomedov. Like he's beaten a couple, like he's beaten some like low to mid tier guys, but like, dude, Kelleher, the same thing happened against fucking what's his name, Mario Bautista. You know,
Bautista, like, yeah, literally the same thing.
Literally the exact same thing. And Kelleher was stopping those takedowns early, and then just gave up a back take. And Kelleher's just not that good of a grappler. And Barcelos defense takedowns at 93%. Like I just don't. I don't know. Like, I think Nurmagomedov, this is like my instincts on the fight. Like, I feel like Nurmagomedov will maybe have a little bit of wrestling success, but I think it's going to be less than people think. And so, you know, he'll probably get ahead because of stuff like that. And then I think he's probably a little more evasive on the feet and can kind of limit engagements and maybe get ahead on like points. But I just don't see him completely dominating either, like in any aspect of the fight. And unless if he like, but he could, but I just tend to think he won't. But if he can, then fine. He justifies the line, but you better, best case scenario has to happen to even justify the line, you know?
No, I generally do not think off this tape that you can justify the line. Even if Nurmagomedov turns out to be the fucking GOAT, you are taking a punt.
Would you take Aljo at minus 700 in a 3-rounder versus Barcelos? No, I wouldn't either.
Like, no.
and I love it. Like you and I both historically love Aljo. We think he's a great fighter, you know?
Like the only, I wouldn't, again, it would be very rare for me to play minus 700 unless I thought the person on the other side of it was like a bum. I can't really imagine who I would ever play minus 700 against, but even over like 5 rounds, like probably like be Jan or so, like even then, like would Jan be minus 700 against Barcelos over 5? Like minus 500,
I would just be nervous
that's
that
a big number.
Like, you gotta realize, like Barcelos just is also like very powerful. He can just catch anyone, you know?
Yeah, he's baseline dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, and he's a complete mixed martial artist. Like, again, inevitably, I know when I'm going to lose a split decision. This is going to be a split decision loss.
You're going to lose like a competitive 29-28 decision.
And the pivot's going to be some stupid takedown, like end of round 2 or some shit. And it won't even be a real takedown. It will just be like a fucking kick catch or some like fucking stupid scramble or something. Like, and like you'll just have a bunch of people going, "Oh, I got the opener minus 300 on Umo. I'm a genius." Like, we know how it ends.
Yeah, pretty much.
But if Umar's like last name was just fucking like, I don't know, he'd probably be minus 300, not minus 800.
Yeah.
Like, it is ridiculous how the market plays some of these like last names.
Yeah. Well, that's everything.
He's decent fighter.
Yeah. No. I mean, Nurmagomedov might end up being really good. I'm very skeptical early, like on people, and he looks like a good grappler, but I don't think he's going to be able to do that to every bantamweight. You know what I mean? Like it's just like it's really hard to do that to some of the top bantamweights, and I feel like he still looks like a competent striker. He's like quick. He's in and out with his kicks, so he could probably just win on that against Barcelos. But I don't know, like. Barcelos is too good, man, to be like plus 5'10". It's just, I don't know. Again, Nurmagomedov probably wins, but fuck that. Is there any other fight you want to talk about? Like, I don't really feel like anything else.
Cachoeira Eubanks.
Eubanks should murk her on the mat. Let's be real.
She
I think the thing is, I think she kind of gets too much shit. Like, everyone.
The Gato fight was not a good look. Like that's probably the one that I kind of go on like.
Gato did things to her. Cachoeira can't. Like it was. Sure. So the first 7 minutes, Eubanks dominated. Kind of did what she did. She got takedowns, top position. She couldn't advance though. But Eubanks has 24 passes on 16 takedowns in the UFC, which is really good. But she couldn't pass Gato's guard because Gato knows jiu-jitsu. Like she's not good, but she knows how to retain guard. Cachoeira doesn't. Everyone passes their guard. So that's one thing like Cachoeira can't do that Gato could. The other thing, Gato swept Eubanks in round 2, and that's what changed the fight. And Cachoeira can't sweep Eubanks. Like if she does, fine. Like fuck it. I don't see it happening. And then in round 3, it's like, okay, Eubanks then gets to start on the feet, and then she just got hit with a body kick, you know, and it just like, is a finesse body kick something Cachoeira is going to do? No, she's going to come out and throw punches and elbows at your head. And Eubanks has never been dropped in her career. So I just feel like what Cachoeira generally does to win fights and what Gato did there, like, it's not applicable here. And like where Eubanks win fights, Cachoeira gets fucking killed. And Eubanks has had a really tough schedule to get finishes on the mat. Like people like Aspen Ladd, like a lot of people who know what they're doing on the mat. But her worst grappler she faced was Elise Reed, who fucking Corey McKenna couldn't out-grapple, you know? And Eubanks literally homicided her. And this is Cachoeira is the next worst grappler she's faced in the UFC. Wouldn't you agree?
Reed versus Cachoeira grappling match.
We agree they're the two worst. Like, I mean, we don't.
Oh, 100%. Again, I'm just not sure that Reed's worse.
I'm just saying, like, the Cachoeira might honestly be worse as a grappler on the mat, and I think Eubanks could absolutely like maul her. It's like, can Cachoeira catch her? Like, yeah, Cachoeira has power. She could. Could Cachoeira gas her out and win later? I think she probably could. Like, I've seen stranger shit happen, but I do think like until she's gonna get taken down and get murked on the mat until that point, you know. And so I think Eubanks will finish her on the mat. I'm really annoyed because offshore Eubanks was like the underdog for a bit, and I was like salivating, and then she opened at -140, and I kind of wanted to play her, and then all these fucking douchebags hit her at $100 limits to ruin the line, you know. So I'm kind of annoyed. So I never got anything down. I would have played her at an earlier line, but now I'm kind of annoyed. But what's her KO line? Because I think her finishing her, like, Cachoeira just concedes a shitload of ground and pound. Like, Robertson could have finished her with elbows, but decided to go to the submission. And Eubanks likes to land ground and pound. Like, if you just watch that Reed fight, I think Eubanks might KO her, like, on the mat. So that could be, like, an interesting prop. But I'd rather almost play Eubanks inside the distance, because I feel like if she wins and justifies her line, she's going to murder her on the mat, you know?
Yeah, I agree. +140 for RTD is probably better than mine, because it is Eubanks. You don't trust her.
Yeah, and that's a good plus money. And like, I really do think it, like, she's going to fuck Cachoeira up. Like, if she goes to her shit, you know, like, she should fuck her up. And like, the advances of position are there. The ground and pound's there. The submission path is there. And Eubanks is currently an underrated finisher because she finishes, like, low tier grapplers are people she can finish. And Reed was one of them, and Cachoeira is one of them. And she's been facing all these girls who aren't low tier grapplers. So people don't know she can do that on the mat. So
No,
I think she's
severe.
Huh?
Even against Severe, she almost subbed her twice.
Yeah.
She had like deep arm triangles. I remember I had plus 1,000 sub, and I was very pissed.
Yeah. Cachoeira, like, I like her. Hold on. I meant Eubanks. What's her KO line? Like, that's what I was interested in, but it's +550. I kind of like that because she is going to land hard shots on the mat. She just fucking is. Like, if she gets the mount, she'll probably beat the shit out of Cachoeira.
It just seems 50-50 between sub and the, like, again, I'd rather take the +550 on KO than I would the +275 on sub, but also it's like it's very likely that like Eubanks 98% TKO serve and she gives up rear naked choke or vice versa. Yeah.
It's like Eubanks is +275 submission, +550 TKO. So I think that splits off. I mean, she might submit her, but I think I kind of slightly lean towards the ground and pound finish on the mat a little more, you know, but it might be 50-50, but I'd rather take that +550 figure, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
And not to mention, Eubanks could just knock her. Like, Eubanks hits hard, and Cachoeira is a fucking punching bag on the feet. That could happen too.
Yeah, but even then, like, even if she drops her, what's the chance she didn't really naked chokes her? Because like, it's women, so you don't tend to get many like clean KOs.
Yeah,
it just seems like a mess. Where like,
it probably won't. I'm just saying, like, it drops or live, shit could happen, and then Eubanks just like really went to the ground and pound against Reed, and I just feel like the same shit could happen here. And
Reed, like, didn't she have to naked choke against Reed? Then Reed like struggled out when she did the ground pounder from memory. I just feel like this will just be like it'll be a grapple finish, but I just think it will literally again. Like, I agree with you. KO +550 is probably the side, but
yeah,
it just feels like inevitably, but whichever one is the least.
I wanted her, like, when I was seeing that like line early, I was like, so I like taped it early. I was like ready, and then of course I'm so fucking mad. I didn't get any like money down on like a good wine, you know.
I got a little bit of minus 150, but like only a tiny bit.
Honestly, it might be a blessing because I really do think like that inside the distance at plus 140s like might be better because if Eubanks wins like dominantly by a decision, it's gonna be like, what's that gonna, you know what I mean? Like if she does her shit and is winning dominantly, it's probably just gonna result in a ground finish. I just, what's the decision gonna look? I mean, I could imagine some decisions happening, but it would be really weird, you know, like that inside the distance is just gonna be looming the whole time for her.
Yeah, it's like the Julia Vieira fight. Like she had like multiple near finishes.
Yeah, Avila actually like she like knows jiu-jitsu like more than capoeira. So
speaking of line movement, like that Charles Johnson line was hilarious. It opens like minus 140 because like before the lines dropped, I was like, oh, maybe we can get Charles Johnson like at a competitive price because Jimmy Flick got that like sub in his last win.
Yeah,
but it instantly goes like minus 350. Like, Jimmy Flick sucks, but like I was hoping that there would be like some sort of stupid take, but Flick
I haven't taped it, but yeah, it seemed I saw there was like a big jump.
Yeah, because like he was like on the look aheads and like in para match and that kind of shit. Johnson was like evens, and I was like, fuck, Johnson at Pickham's is a big play, but like Flick is like he sucks. He's like Derek, he's like a less enthusiastic version of Derek Minner.
Yeah,
like he has like 4 minutes. Again, Charles Johnson is capable of Bobby Greening himself out of this win somehow, but it's like Jimmy Flick is not good. But I was hoping that like there would be an overreaction to the Durden result because that was a fucking ridiculous flying triangle.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, no. Can't have nice things.
Well, all right. I'm exhausted, so I'm gonna end this. Like I had so much shit to do today, but no, good chat. We will be. What's the next card? It's a Brazil card, right?
Brazil pay-per-view.
Okay, cool. We will be back then, and thank you everyone for listening, and we will talk to you next week. Have a good one, Gugabe.
Yep, catch them. Thanks for listening.
Bye.